Sweet children, in order to become deities, drink this nectar and also inspire others to drink it. Only those who drink this nectar become elevated. This is the nectar to make you elevated. Question: on what basis do the subjects of the Golden Age become ready at this time? Those who are impressed by this knowledge and say that it's very good, but neither study nor make effort, become the subjects. So the sanskar of studying and the sanskar of effort making is what allows you to become a king. To be impressed means to become a subject. In order to become a Sun Dynasty king or queen, effort is required. Full attention has to be paid to this study. You can receive a high status if you continue to stay in remembrance and also inspire others to do the same, so that even a small child can understand. When they relate the story of the true Narayan, even small children sit down to listen. This is at these spiritual gatherings, satsangs, where they read scriptures, they read this true Narayan story. And so little children even sit and listen. However, whatever they relate in those spiritual gatherings are only just stories. Those stories are not true knowledge. They are just man-made stories. Scriptures are basically man-made stories. There's the story of the Gita and the story of the Ramayana. There are many different stories in the scriptures that they relate. All of them are stories. Can there ever be any benefit in stories? This is the true story of the true Narayan. That is the true story of how to become Narayan from an ordinary human. By listening to this story, you change from an ordinary human into Narayan. This is also the story of immortality. You invite people, come and we will tell you the story of immortality so you can go to the land of immortality. In spite of that, no one understands anything. They have been listening to the stories of the scriptures, and yet they haven't received anything. They go to the Lakshmi Narayan temple. Come, let's go to have a glimpse of the idols. Let's go and have a glimpse of the Mahatmas. That custom and system has continued. They continue to bow down to all the rishis and munis who existed in the past. Ask them if they know the story of the creator and creation. They reply that they don't. You children now understand that this story of the creator and creation is very easy. It's the story of Alpha, God, and Beta, the creation. Although those who come to the exhibitions listen to the story very well, they still don't become pure. They believe that the custom and system of indulging in vice has been eternal, has been going on for eternity. They go in front of the idols of the deities in the temples and they sing, "You are completely viceless." And then when they come outside, they say that it is an eternal system to indulge in vice, and they ask how the world could continue without it. They say even Lakshmi Narayan had children, so he's saying giving birth through sexual reproduction is based on vice. They say this, and so what can you tell them? You cannot equate those with ordinary human beings. Deities were still human beings. They were so happy in the kingdom of Lakshmi Narayan. Baba is telling you children very easy things. Truly, there was heaven in Bharat. It used to be the kingdom of Lakshmi and Narayan. There are their images too in India, in the temples. Everyone believes that it was their Lakshmi and Narayan's kingdom in the Golden Age. No one was unhappy there. They were completely viceless. Big temples have been built to Lakshmi Narayan. They existed 5,000 years ago. They don't exist now. It's now the end of the Iron Age. Human beings continue to fight and quarrel amongst themselves. God resides up above in the land of Nirvana. In fact, we souls also reside there, and we then come here to play our parts. At first, we were in the kingdom of Lakshmi Narayan. There was a lot of happiness and bliss there, and we had to take 84 births. The cycle of 84 births has been remembered. We ruled the Sun Dynasty for 1,250 years. There was limitless happiness there. People were completely viceless, and there were palaces studded with diamonds and jewels. So that's why you won't last as a Brahmin unless you figure out that it repeats identically. Why? Because without identical repetition, there is no actual definition of eternity. A circle that goes around and around and around, that's eternal. An open-ended spiral that goes on forever and came from forever can't exist, because if it came from the past of forever, we never get to the present. Right? So how is it people still don't understand that? We ruled that kingdom and then had to take 84 births. The cycle of this world history and geography continues to turn. There was happiness for half the cycle. We were in the kingdom of Ram, the kingdom of God, and then the population of human beings continued to grow. In the Golden Age, there were 900,000. By the end of the Golden Age, there'll be 20 million. Then there's a lot of happiness and comfort for 12 births in the Silver Age. There was just one religion. What happened then? The kingdom of Ravan began. Look how easily I explained the kingdom of Ram and the kingdom of Ravan. You should explain to the young children in this way. What happened then? All the big palaces of gold studded with diamonds and jewels went down below in the earthquakes. Earthquakes took place when the people of Bard became vicious, and the kingdom of Ravan then began. From pure, everyone became impure. They say that golden Lenka went down below. Some things must have remained with which they built temples, etc. The path of devotion began. Human beings began to become vicious. It then became the kingdom of Ravan, and their lifespans decreased. So there must have been some images or something left over, architecture left over, and that's how they designed the new buildings of Copper Age. From being viceless yogis, they became vicious bogies who indulged in sensual pleasures. As with the king and queen, so the subjects too became vicious. This story is so easy. If you young daughters related this story, important, influential people would be ashamed. Why? Because they're actually saying a completely different story. The Father's now sitting here and telling you this. He alone is the ocean of knowledge and the purifier. Then in the Copper Age, you become those who indulged in sensual pleasures and became impure. And other religions then began to come into existence. Until we become pure, the other religions can't play their part. The intoxication of nectar finished. Fighting and quarreling then began to come into existence. So there was no negativity or conflict. Then we became impure, and we were the seed of fighting and quarreling. The intoxication of nectar then finished. Fighting and quarreling began. We began to fall in the Copper Age, and we became even more vicious in the Iron Age. Imagine that, the first arguments, the first harsh words, and you're hearing them for the first time in Copper Age from people who were in Silver Age. And we became even more vicious in the Iron Age. We continued to make stone idols of Hanuman and Ganesh. We became those with stone intellects and began to worship stone. We believe that God exists in the pebbles and the stones. By our doing all of that, the condition of Bard has become like this. God isn't omnipresent. Well, then is he in pebbles? Is he in the stones? Is he in the dirt? Is he in the cow dung? Like, you can go on with this. The Father now says, renounce poison, drink this nectar, become pure and claim the kingdom. Yeah, would you say that? Oh, God is in the cow dung. Cow is in the horse dung. Yeah, would you say this of God? People would kill you for saying such things. Renounce poison and you will change from humans into deities. However, you don't renounce poison. Women are beaten so much for poison and troubled so much. So then once they accept the silliness at that point, then you have to go to the next one, which is, well, if he's not in this one, how do you know he's in everything? And is he only in some things and not others? And then who decides that? And on what basis can you know if God is present in whatever things? And the only way we're telling them is based on total purity. So therefore, God would never come in total impurity. And the only way he explains that to us is I entered this body of Brahma, but I don't experience his body as being mine. So in my experience, Baba's experience, I'm not in experiencing the world of impurity. However, you don't renounce poison. Women are beaten so much for poison and troubled so much. This is why Draupadi called out for protection. You understand how it is not possible to become deities without drinking this nectar. Ravan doesn't exist in the Golden Age. The Father says, unless you become elevated, you cannot go to heaven. Those who were elevated have now become corrupt. You now have to drink this nectar and become elevated. The Father says, constantly remember me alone. Have you forgotten the Gita? I created the Gita, but then they inserted Krishna's name. Who gave Lakshmi and Narayan their kingdom? It must definitely have been God who gave it. God taught them Raj Yoga in their previous birth, but Krishna's name has been inserted. You should practice explaining this to others. It's a very easy story. How long did it take Baba? Even in half an hour, some are still not able to understand such an easy matter. This is why the father says, so just sit and explain this short story to someone. Take a picture in one hand. There's the kingdom of Lakshminarayan in the Golden Age, and the kingdom of Ravan, and the kingdom of Ram and Sita in the Silver Age. Then the kingdom of Ravan began in the Copper Age. It's such an easy story to tell. We were definitely deities, and then we became warriors, merchants, and Shudras. Now, because you don't consider yourselves to be deities, you call yourselves Hindus. From having an elevated religion and performing elevated actions, you have become corrupt in your religion and your actions. If you young daughters sat and gave lectures in this way, the whole gathering would say, Encore, encore. Baba is speaking to those at all the centers. These older people don't learn anything, so teach these little Kumaris. They're also the names of the Kumaris. There are very good Kumaris in Delhi and Bombay. They were very well educated. They should become alert. They could do so much. If the Kumaris were to become alert, means awake, the name would be glorified. Then from wealthy ones, those from wealthy homes hardly have any courage. They have the intoxication of their wealth. Once they receive their dowry, that's it for them. When a Kumari gets married, she becomes ugly, loses her purity, and has to bow down to everyone. Therefore, the Father explains so easily. However, they don't think about becoming those with divine intellects. Look, nowadays, even those who haven't studied have become MPs or MLAs, etc. Look at what they can become by studying. This study is very easy. You should go and teach others. So look what they can become from studying. So what are you going to become when you study? You should go and teach others. However, because they don't follow Srimad, they don't even study. There are many very good Kumaris, but they have their own intoxication of their own desires. When they do a little work, they think they have done so much. Now, a lot of work still has to be done. So if you think you're overworked, then you're not even in the game yet. Nowadays, it is Kumaris who indulge in a lot of fashion. There is natural beauty. Here, the adornment is so artificial. They spend so much money just on their hairdressing. That is the pomp of Maya. Can't get a cheaper haircut than just having a razor and shaving it all off. That is the pomp of Maya. There is the fall of Maya, the kingdom of Ravan, and then there is the rise of the kingdom of Ram. The kingdom of Ram is now being established. However, you should at least make some effort. What will you become if you don't study? So somebody's going to be doing Lakshmi's hair in the Golden Age. And even look at Narayan has long hair. Somebody's going to do his hair too. So you get hairdressers only in Golden Age. You can't have them in Confluence Age. Or you can have them, but just you can't spend a lot of money on them. When you go there, you will become subjects worth a few pennies. Eminent people of today will become subjects there. Wealthy people simply say that this is good and become engrossed in their work. They become very impressed. And then what? What will happen eventually? They will become subjects there in the Golden Age. To be impressed, they're so impressed by these extremely wealthy people who can spend so lavishly on the simplest things, right? To be impressed means to become a subject. Those who make effort will go into the kingdom of Ram. The explanation is very easy. The boats of those who maintain the intoxication of this story of the true Narayan will go across. We'll go to the land of peace and then go to the land of happiness. That's it. You simply have to remember Baba and inspire others to do the same. Only then be inspired and inspire others to do the same. Only then will you claim a high status. Pay attention to the studying. You should have pictures in your hand. When Baba used to worship Lakshminarayan, he would have their picture in his pocket. There are many small photos. They are also in the lockets. Explain these pictures. This is Baba, and you receive your inheritance from him. Now become pure and remember the Father. There's so much of this knowledge in the badge. It has this entire knowledge. It's very easy to explain this. So we should have a locket with two pictures. One should have Shiv Baba's picture, and the other should have Lakshminarayan, the aim and objective of the kingdom. It's very easy to explain this. Claim your inheritance of Jivan Mukti from the Father in 1 second. Anyone who explains this can claim a right to the status of Jivan Mukti. All the rest will claim a status according to how much they study. They will go to heaven. They will at least come at the end. The population has to grow. The deity religion is the highest. They would be created, would they not? There will be hundreds of thousands of subjects created. Effort is needed in order to become part of the Sun dynasty. Only those who do service will claim a high status. Their names are also glorified. What are their names? Kumarka and Janak are looking after centers very well. There is no conflict in their centers. Father says, see no evil, speak no evil. In spite of that, some continue to say such things. What will such people become when they go there? They don't even do such easy service. Even little daughters can explain this. They can give this knowledge. The army of monkeys is very well known. So even baby monkeys can give knowledge. The Sitas who are trapped in Ravan's jail have to be freed. People have made up so many different stories. Someone should give such lectures. When they, the Kumaris, say that so-and-so was very impressed by the way they shared knowledge, ask them, so what do you want to become? They just tell others. Their knowledge is very good. However, they themselves don't understand it. So what was the benefit then of that? Oh, it just cuts them down. So you shared it with this VIP. They didn't understand it. They didn't want to apply it. So then what was the benefit? And you're getting all like impressed and excited. Acha. To you, sweetest beloved, long lost and now found children, love, remembrance, and good morning. From the mother, father, Baptata, the spiritual father says namaste to the spiritual children, and
the spiritual children say namaste to the spiritual father.
essence for Dharma. Number 1. In order to become one with the divine intellect, pay full attention to
The study.
this study. Study and teach others according to Srimad. Renounce the intoxication of your limited
Passion.
That's 1. Remember, you talked about wealthy people with their wealth and fashion, and engage yourself in doing this unlimited service. 2. Hear no evil, see no evil. Don't talk about wasteful matters. Don't be impressed by anyone. Tell everyone the short story of becoming the true Narayan. Blessing. May you die alive and remain aware of your new life and thereby gain victory over your physical senses. You children who have completely died alive cannot be attracted by any physical senses. To die alive means that you have died to everything, and therefore your old life has finished. Since you've taken a new birth, how could you be influenced by physical senses in your new birth and your new life? In your new life of a Brahma Kumara Kumari, you are completely beyond any knowledge of what it means to be influenced by
Desire.
by the physical senses, which is the basis of being influenced by desire. Do not let even the slightest breath, that is, any sanskar of a Shudra, be even slightly stuck on you. No Shudra Klingons. Merge God's love in your heart and at Amrit Vela, and no other love will be able to attract you. Yeah, that's the end of your desire lust problem, attachment problem. Yet signal, imbibe the virtues of sweetness and humility to become great. In order to obtain success in a gathering, remain constantly seated on your throne of humility. Sit on this throne and wear your crown of responsibility and create your future status. Do not get off your throne of humility. Do everything while seated on your throne, and you will continue to receive success. Let the lesson of you first be firm. By doing this, your sanskaras will harmonize with everyone.